But today we're going to talk about mindset. I always have this question because I look out at my fellow solopreneurs and I see some people are really struggling to make it and some people are not. And it just kind of makes me wonder, why do some people flourish while others fall behind? And I got to tell you, a lot of it has to do with mindset. There's no doubt about it that solopreneurship, freelancing, being an independent contractor, whatever you want to call it, is hard, right? And once the initial novelty has worn off of running your own business, unfortunately, so many people end up returning to the normal workforce, whatever that means anymore, right? After COVID. But why do they do that? It's because there's no health insurance, there's no benefits, there's no support, no guaranteed paycheck. You work on this feast or famine income cycle, and you find yourself hustling when there's no work to do. And unfortunately, this is when many people quit. They see the challenges, the unpredictability, the frustration, and they expect that's how it's going to be from there on out. And that's how it's going to be if they continue down this path of self-employment. But I got to tell you, it doesn't have to be that way if you get into the right mindset. Y'all, mindset is everything. A good mindset can help you improve your self-esteem. It can help you be optimistic, enhance your drive, your commitment, your focus. It can help you in the face of adversity, and it certainly can help you achieve your goals. And isn't that why y'all are here today? Because you want to achieve your goals? Because you want to find success as a solopreneur? So often when we work for ourselves, heck, even as just normal human beings, we get in our own lane. We strive to maintain focus, and yet we easily get overwhelmed. We might get scared. We might be unsure of ourselves, and that does a number on us, on our minds, and it hinders our progress. But what if it didn't have to be that way? What if there were ways to overcome those things? There are. Hi, I'm Julie Cortés, copywriter by day, freelance rock star by night. I have run my own copywriting business for more than 20 years now. If you don't know what that is, essentially it means I write advertising and marketing copy is what it's called, words. I help concept ideas and then I flesh them out. I write things anywhere from websites and brochures to TV commercials and videos. If it's in the advertising marketing space, I've probably had my hands on it at some point in time, doing work for large corporations, ad agencies, design shops, even small businesses, mom and pops, startups, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs such as yourself. And like I said, I've been doing this for a little over 20 years now. And something that I noticed early on was this void in education, community, and even respect for the self-employed. And so apparently, looking back at my career, I made it my personal mission, my life's mission to rectify that. In 2003, I started a professional organization here in Kansas City called the Freelance Exchange. What it is a not-for-profit professional organization targeting those who are self-employed in advertising and marketing specifically. So we cater to graphic designers and art directors, illustrators, photographers, writers, PR pros, web developers, social media pros. Again, if they're in advertising marketing, they're self-employed, they are probably part of our near 200-person community. We give them monthly programs. We give them continuing education, social opportunities, mentorship, networking, promotional opportunities, etc., to help combat the voids that I was seeing for the self-employed. By default, the Freelance Exchange has become the go-to resource for area companies and agencies to find freelance talent. And even solopreneurs such as yourself, if you need help with advertising or marketing, you can come to us. We provide a free resource to help you find the people that you need so you can get that done at a fraction of the cost of what a large ad agency might charge you. And so a funny thing happens when you're the founder of an organization. Everybody considers you an expert. So I had to become an expert. I don't like that term, but I had to get very well educated in self-employment really quick because I was getting all of these interviews on TV and radio and newspaper and magazines, and my life just kind of blew up. And today I find myself as I live, breathe, teach, speak, and coach on all things freelancing. about 5 years ago, actually it was about 6 years ago, I was giving a presentation to a design class at UMKC about freelancing. And I go around to a lot of the local schools, and I do that quite often. And I'm sitting there in the middle of my 1 hour presentation, and it just dawned on me, and I'm like, Cortés, this needs to be taught in school. Like, so many of us go to school to study our craft, whatever it may be, but more often than not, we didn't take business classes. And why? Because either they weren't required or we didn't think we would ever need them. And then, of course, here we are, by choice or by default, we're out on our own as self-employed individuals, and we may know our craft really, really well, but we're lacking in the business department. So that's when I was like, all right, I got to do something about this. So I created my own course called Freelancing 101. And I've now been teaching as an adjunct professor at the Kansas City Art Institute for about 5 years now. And that's just been amazing. If you had asked me 20 years ago if I ever thought I'd see myself as a teacher at an art school teaching a business class, I would have told you were nuts. But I absolutely love it. Then another funny thing happened. And like, as I'm teaching this course, so many of my professional peers are coming to me and they're like, Julie, I need to sit in on your class. I need to know about contracts and pricing and everything else that we need to know about to run a business and do it well. And I'm like, that's great. You can't sit in on my course. Unfortunately, you have to enroll, pay, go back to school and come join us for the actual class. And of course, at this stage in life, how many people want to do that? Not many, right? So again, light bulb moment, I was like, Cortés, you need to offer these same lessons that you're giving to your professional peers. And so I ended up opening a coaching arm to my business a few years ago, and I've been helping coach my fellow freelancers and solopreneurs ever since then. It's been an absolute blast, and I have found myself being asked to speak on stages both locally and nationally, from the National Freelance Conference, How Design Conference, Women Future Conference. It's totally blown my mind. Like, y'all, people want to pay me to speak now. Like, if my mom had known that in high school when she used to tell me to stop talking, like, who knew this would be my path? But it's all worked out. So anyway, I'm here today to talk about mindset because I feel like that really is the integral part to our success as self-employed individuals. All right. Why am I so passionate about this? Well, honestly, because I used to struggle myself. Yes, it's true. I haven't always been the freelance rock star. I used to struggle to get motivated, and now I find myself motivating others. I used to let personal struggles get in the way. And yet now I'm coaching others on how to focus on their businesses and regain their power. I used to let clients take advantage of me. And now, not only do I teach other solopreneurs how to identify the red flags and put a stop to that, but I also offer training for companies on how to have that good client-vendor relationship. So how did I make that shift? How did I get to where I am today? I had to shift my mindset. And you can too. So what's on tap today? We're going to talk about mindset, of course, but let's take a step back for a moment. Deep breath. All right, we all struggle somehow, some way, in some capacity. And the irony is that we know what we need to be doing, and yet we still have trouble focusing. We easily get distracted. We have trouble getting motivated. We might feel overwhelmed. We might not have the confidence to do what's best for us. Or maybe you're one of those people, I know I am, where we prefer perfection over progress. So how is it that we get out of our own way to make sure that we have the business that we deserve? We're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about how to take your business seriously, how to establish and enforce boundaries, and how to get and stay motivated. But before we get to that, let's address why mindset even matters. This is why. Mindset is what separates the best from the rest. Well, what is mindset? At its very core, it's a set of beliefs that shape how you make sense of the world, yourself, your business, and it influences how you think, how you feel, how you behave in any given situation. As a solopreneur, your very thoughts can essentially make or break your business. They can determine whether or not you succeed. Now, to break it down even further, there are two types of mindset. There's the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. The fixed mindset is, as you might imagine, it's where you believe your abilities, your intelligence, what have you, are fixed and can't be changed at all. You may believe that that's all of you need, your existing talent and wisdom to lead you to success, and therefore you don't have to put in any other effort whatsoever. Conversely, on the other hand, we've got this growth mindset. This is where you believe in your talents and your abilities can grow and you're not stuck if you put in the effort, the determination, and you're persistent. You just know you have to work at it, right? Day in and day out. Having a growth mindset is the single most important factor that is going to determine whether or not you succeed. What you think about consistently really has a direct impact on your behavior. So it's important to get this part right. If you are serious about achieving success, you've got to master your mindset. You must learn to be proactive instead of reactive. Your business will be what you make of it. Everything comes down to you. How you decide to tackle each day, what meaning you give to each task, what actions you decide to take in each moment. It's not about perfection. It's about putting forth the effort. When you bring that effort each and every day, that's how transformation happens. That's when change occurs. That's where the magic takes place. Okay, Julie, what kind of effort are you talking about? Well, for starters, you've got to take your business seriously. Yes, treat your business like a business, not like a hobby. I see this all the time. So many solopreneurs will go and start their own business, for example, when they lose a job. You know, with the pandemic, many people have found themselves in that particular setting. I get it. It happens. Totally cool. I started my own business that way as well. I'm not here to judge. Yet what happens more often than not is when you don't instantly find success, you end up looking for a full-time job. I'm here to tell you, friends, if you are in that situation right now, please, for the love of all things pink and purple, make a decision. Please, please, please make a decision one way or another. Why? Because your focus is torn. You're probably looking for a full-time job 50% of the time, and you're probably freelancing or doing your solopreneur gig 50% of the time. You're torn. Your focus is torn. Your time is torn. Your energy is torn. No. Make a decision and put 100% of your time and energy into one effort. What is it going to be? Now, regardless of whether or not you're in that situation, regardless of whether you're a solopreneur by choice or by default, did you quit your job or were you let go? That's what I mean there. You've got to take control in order to boost your chances of success. You've got to take control of your time, of your energy, and of course, your mindset. And one way to do that is to get motivated. Yes, wake up, kick ass, and repeat. You've got to get motivated and stay motivated. That is the kicker. And so you'll want to set yourself up for success. Now, this is first part, audience participation time. So I am going to stop sharing my screen so I can see all of you again. Hello. And I'm going to ask you, if I were to say, what is the first thing I want you to do when you wake up in the morning? What would you tell me? First thing. Who's paying attention?
I go to the restroom.
Okay, good call. Go to the restroom, yes. What else? What else might you do first thing in the morning? Shannon says, check email for opportunities, okay? What else?
Make my bed.
Make your bed. That's exactly what I'm looking for. A+, Anna.
Oh, yay.
Yay. Okay, before you even go to the restroom, make your bed. Now, start coffee. Good call too, right? Okay, but make your bed first. That's the first thing you're going to do when you'll get out of bed, okay? I'm not saying it has to be fancy. You don't need the throw pillows, the shams on your pillows, what have you. Just pull up your covers. And I say that for two reasons. One, of course, is you will have already accomplished something for the day. Check it off your to-do list. I don't know if anybody writes make bed down on their to-do list, but you can check it off your to-do list. You've already got the sense of accomplishment to get started for your day. Number two is if you're the type of person who's like, meh, I work for myself. I've got a flexible schedule. It's dark and gloomy outside today. I'm going to go take a nap. By making your bed, you will be less likely to crawl back into it. True story. I know. Or try it and see if it works for you. But there is this thing where it's like it tells your subconscious when you make your bed, like you're done with that part of your day and you don't go back into that until the nighttime. Tori says, do you make your bed around your partner who is still in it because you wake up before that? That is a great question. I pull up my side of the covers. Yes, I do. I do. Now, more often than not, my husband gets up before me, but still, I would just pull up my side of the covers and it's fine. I mean, we have a dog too, so even more of a reason to do so we don't get dog hair on our pillows. But anyway, make your bed. Okay. Now, you've made your bed, you've gone to the bathroom. What's next? Start your coffee pot, check your email, check your social media. What does your morning routine look like? Like you still want to have some sort of routine, whatever it is that you do in the morning. Do you watch the news? Do you drink coffee? Do you exercise? Do you take your dog for a walk? Do you pray? Do you meditate? Do you do yoga or jazzercise? What is it that you do? Have some sort of morning routine established, okay, to set you up for success for the rest of the day. Beyond that, all right, I want you to go ahead and grab your coffee. Now, if you work from home, more often than not, people will think, okay, well, I'm going to take my coffee and I'm going to be in my bunny slippers and I'm going to walk down the hall to my office. And you can totally do that for sure. However, I urge you not to. I urge you to go and shower. If you shower in the mornings, go and shower, get dressed like you would for any other job that you would go to. Okay. Do your hair, do your makeup. If you have hair, if you do makeup, like do the things that you would normally do in order to be presentable at a full-time job in an office. Okay. Not only will it put you in the right mindset to go to work, but there's a bonus to this. And that is, should somebody call and say, hey, Julie, I have a rush project. Can you meet with me like in half an hour? I can say yes. All right. I'm not going to be sitting here going, oh man, I haven't washed my hair in a couple of days. I don't have any makeup on. Like there's no way I can get to their office in half an hour if that's when they want to meet, or there's no way I can even jump on a Zoom call, right? In today's day and age, everything's done over the video. There's no way I would be ready. Now I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever comes my way. And one thing to remember too, is when you're getting dressed, even if you work from home, is don't forget to put on shoes. Now, I know that sounds a little weird, but it works. Not slippers, not flip-flops, shoes. I don't care even if they're lace-up tennis shoes, just some sort of shoes like with a good sole. Again, it tells your mind it's time to go to work. The way you look affects the way you feel, and the way you feel affects the way you work. Shoes are optional in Florida. Whatever, laws, stop bragging. She's in Tampa, I know. Let me repeat that. The way you look affects the way you feel, and that affects the way you work. All right. Let me go back to sharing my screen here, get back on my fancy slide. Okay, so you're going to get dressed for work, right? We've got that. We understand that now. Now you're going to go to work, and I'm going to suggest you have some sort of dedicated workspace if you don't already. Again, if you work from home, this can be tricky. Do you have an extra bedroom that you can allocate for your office? Do you have a kitchen table, a dining room table, a folding table in the basement? I don't care what it is. What I do care is that you have a dedicated workspace and you're not lounging. All right. Again, if you work from home, you have that opportunity to sit on a couch, sit in a comfy chair, to sit in your bed even and go to work. I urge you not to, because that is going to affect your mindset. All right. So what does your office space look like? If you work outside the home, that may look like a co-working space, a studio, an artist studio. You may go to the local coffee shop. You may have a maker space, a workshop, or some of you may even be working in the kitchen. That's all fine and good. Just know where is your dedicated workspace. And even if you're a hands-on maker kind of person or baker, you can always go and, you still have some admin stuff to do or some promotional stuff to do on the computer, right? Where are you going to go to get that stuff done? Where's your dedicated workspace? So figure that stuff out. The other thing that is a great mindset trick is to ensure that you get out of the house at least one time a day or wherever you're working from. Get out one time a day. And I'll tell you that is because that helps with isolation. That helps us be productive members of society. That helps us kind of reinforce the fact that we ought to be showered and dressed and looking presentable for the day. So get out of the house once a day. What does that look like? Well, you could set up a coffee meeting with a potential client or an existing client. You could go to the post office, the office supply store, the art store, right? I don't care. Just do something. You could take your dog for a walk or go take yourself for a walk around the block, right? You can do any of that. Just get out of the house one time a day. It's going to help you. It will help your mindset. Now, what other ideas do you all have for what are your motivational hacks? I want to know. Everybody all at once. Let's see. Becky, what do you do to help motivate yourself? You're on mute. Erin says, listening to a podcast. You coming off mute? You're still on mute, Becky.
Okay, so I look at my schedule for the day. And if I've got a lot of stuff to do, that motivates me to get going. If I don't, I have a second cup of coffee and some breakfast. But I'm pretty self-motivated, you know me.
I do.
And I want to get client work done so I can bill them, so I can get money, so I can do more stuff. So that pretty much motivates me. I'm self-motivated. And I say nice things in my brain, like you can get this done and go for it. And I like that one slide that you just had up, the kick ass, that is so important. But if you are not a self-motivated person, or if you don't have a business coach to help motivate you, freelancing or being a solo entrepreneur will be very challenging for you. Just letting those know that that's the truth.
Yes, excellent. Thank you, Becky. Thanks for weighing in. And what a great segue. Because the next thing I was going to recommend is to help, one other thing to help take control of your mindset, honestly, is to be intentional with your time. All right. Set office hours for yourself. Now, it doesn't necessarily matter. Is it 9 to 5, noon to 6, or maybe you have a full-time gig and you are moonlighting, right? You work evenings and weekends. That's fine. Or maybe you have kids and you have to work around their schedule for school or whatever activities they have. It doesn't matter. Just set a schedule. Set office hours or work hours for yourself, because you want to treat this like any other job. You want to get there on time, or as Tori recommends, you may drive to work. Hey, that's a great idea to help get you motivated and get you in that right mindset, but do it and get there on time. Things like personal things, like texting your friends, talking on the phone with them, engaging in social media. We're all guilty of it. Playing games, watching TV, like try and allocate those things to only during breaks. Like maybe you do it before and after work, you do it during your lunch break, but really try and focus on your work during your office hours. Because you want to make sure that you are either working on or in your business during your office hours. What does that mean? Well, working in your business is essentially doing the things that are going to pay the bills, doing your writing project, baking your cookies, whatever it is that you do, right? You want to make sure that is working in your business, the things that pay your bills. The other part of it is working on your business, right? Is doing everything else that you don't necessarily get paid for. All the admin stuff, all the new business development, all the self-promotion, working on your taxes, figuring out your mileage, whatever. There is so much stuff to be done. And even when there's no paid work to be done, there's still stuff to do. And if you can't figure out what to do, you come talk to me. I will give you a laundry list of things to do. You could file things away. You could clean up your office, whatever. There's always something you can do to be bettering yourself and moving forward. This is a prime example. Continuing education, right? Participating in webinars. There's always something to be doing to help get you to that growth mindset, to get you to success. All right. Now, once you have yourself trained, okay, these are my office hours. I know that this is when I need to be working either on or in my business. Once you have that down, you're going to let your clients or your customers know that, because they need to know when they can expect to work with you, when they can expect to hear from you, to meet with you, right? You need to let them know that. Some people will put together like a little working with me document. They'll have it on their website. You may just have a conversation with them and let them know, these are my office hours. The key here to remember is that just because you work for yourself or just because you work from home does not mean you have to be available 24/7. Now, of course, that totally depends on what it is you do for work. If you are in PR, for example, if you are doing crisis management or you are in computer repairs, like you may have to be available 24/7. But if you're not, you don't. And that work-life balance, that work-life separation is so integral to preserve your mental well-being and help foster that growth mindset that we're looking for here. Okay. So you've got these office hours, you've told your clients, and now for whatever reason, they're wanting to demand your attention after hours. Hey, Julie, I can't meet with you during the day. Can you meet at 8 o'clock at night? Yeah, I can, but I don't want to, right? Or maybe they have an emergency. Hey, it's Friday at 5 o'clock. I need this done by Monday at 8. Can you get it done? Again, I can, but I don't want to. Okay. If somebody demands that they impose upon your personal time, you are well within your given right to charge extra, such as a rush fee, or you cannot take the project at all. Okay. What do I mean by rush fee? Well, in my case, in the advertising marketing industry, we do this a lot, and we'll charge. My personal policy is to charge either time and a half or double the amount of the project estimate, depending on what it is they want or how I'm billing. And I do this by, if they come to me and they want it done same day, overnight, over a weekend, or over a holiday, that's when I charge fresh. And more often than not, it will give them a great idea as to, whether or not they should be imposing upon your personal time or not. I mean, if they are, that's a big imposition. They ought to pay for that. Okay. So you've got yourself trained. You know what your office hours are. You've got your clients, your customers trained. Now they know what your office hours are. Now the next piece of the equation is to tell your family and friends. And so many people forget about this part, but yet, even though they may have good intentions, they can really distract us from our focus. They can distract us from succeeding as self-employed business owners. So I want to encourage each and every one of you to be very protective of your time. So those personal phone calls that come in, or if somebody asks you to do something socially, save it for your breaks or for after hours. For example, my mom likes to call in the middle of the day and talk about absolutely nothing important for like 45 minutes on end. I love her dearly, but I don't have time for that, right? I have had to train her. Mom, please only call me, unless it's an emergency, please only call me during lunch, or, you can leave me a message, that's fine, but don't expect to call back until after hours, all right? I had to train her. Same thing goes for chores or errands. Maybe you have a spouse, a partner, or a roommate who expects you to get things done during the day because you work from home or because you have that flexibility, right? Same thing. You've told yourself, nope, I need to be working either on or in my business between the hours of whatever your hours are, 9 to 5. So honey, I love you. I will get to those chores, those errands later. And then of course follow up with that. But go ahead and train yourself first and then train your family and friends. Because it's so easily to get distracted. It's so easily, especially if you work from home, to have the distractions of the internet and games on your cell phone or videos on the internet, right? Or people who can easily barge into your office, or pets, right? Whether it's a spouse, it's a kid, it's a pet, we have to be able to somehow train them. We have to establish these boundaries. All right. We have to cut out these distractions. We have to ask them not to bother us during the workday unless it's an emergency. And sometimes that can be difficult, right? Especially if you have little kids or pets who might not understand. So what are some things that you can do? I'm going to come off, stop sharing again. Audience participation time again, your turn. Tell me, what can you do to help eliminate some of these distractions that we're talking about? Dana, the look on your face was awesome.
Sorry, I was thinking about my cats.
Oh, are they distracting you?
Do I lock them in a bedroom? No.
I was on a panel discussion for GEW on Monday. I thought my door to my office was shut, and apparently it wasn't like clicked, in the little hole. And she just comes barging in. I was like, oh shit. Yeah. Awesome. Close the door. Yeah, Shannon. Awesome. Becky says, if it's a valued client, I'll complete the project over the weekend. I do charge an additional fee. Aaron, prep meals ahead of time. Yes, all good. All good. Even if you shut your door, like you could put a sign on it, right? My cats don't understand closed door. I know, my dog doesn't either. But we have to try our best to train them. We at least have to get ourselves in the right mindset. Like my dog is well outside of my office right now, and I made sure the door was latched today. Okay, because we have to be able to focus. And if something is distracting you, you've got to get it out of your head. Now, again, I understand if you have kids in the house, that might be a little more difficult. And I'm not here to tell you how to parent your kids, but maybe there's something you can do. Hey, if you let mommy have this hour to work, I'll let you watch TV later or whatever it is you use. Okay. So great. What else? Find the nearest library or vacant. Oh yeah. Vacant part of the house. Good, Shannon. I love that. I love that. Anybody got anything else? Nope. Okay. So we want to make sure we're intentional with our time, right? Yes, you may have flexibility in your schedule. You may work for yourself. You may work from home, and you have that flexibility. You have the freedom to do what you want, when you want, how you want, which is amazing. And once in a while, it will be okay. Once in a while, like, let's say a friend texts you and says, oh, Julie, it is so gorgeous outside. Let's cut out of work early because we can. Hashtag freelance life or solopreneur life. Let's go sit on a patio and have some drinks. I'm like, oh man, that sounds amazing. Once in a while, that's not going to kill you at all. But if you start doing it every day, every week, even, like it can start chipping away at your productivity and your chances for success. So then maybe you get into this mindset of, okay, great. I would love to join you for drinks, have a margarita on a patio. That sounds lovely, but can we do it after 5? You can even joke with them and be like, oh man, my boss is such a, insert whatever 4 or 5 letter word you want there, and be like, I have to work till 5. They make me work till 5. Okay. You train yourself first, and then you train everybody else, your clients, your family, your friends. Just whatever you do, like, don't make it a habit if you do those things. If you cut out to go see a movie with a friend or drinks or a play date or whatever you want to call it, if you want to maintain focus, if you want to level up your productivity, you've got to take back your time. You've got to take control of your time. All right. Now, another mindset hack is to know your worth. We get so many issues when it comes to payment from our clients, right? And we have to recognize that our work has value. So I urge you to charge what you are worth. Remember that your worth does not belong in the hands of other people. It is not for them to determine. You are very much deserving of getting paid for your time, your talent, your efforts, your product, your service, whatever it is you're selling. And therefore you ought to price yourself accordingly. Now, something that happens in the advertising industry, for whatever reason, I still don't understand why, is that they might ask you to work for free, on spec, or for exposure. I don't know why, but I'm telling you, don't do it. It never works out well. That's never done anybody any good to do free work. Now, if it's in trade, that's a different story. But do you know what does do people good? It's not doing free work. It's being able to pay the bills, right? So you want to take preventative measures to make sure that you get paid and you get paid on time. Now, of course, this is going to depend on if you sell a product or a service, if you sell online, or if you have a storefront. But let's say, for the sake of this presentation, that you are a service provider and you're going to want to put together policies regarding your payment, such as Will you get a deposit upfront before you start working? And if so, how much? In my industry, standard practice is yes, you get a deposit, and it's either 50% upfront or a third down upfront. So then you decide, okay, great, I've got that part figured out. What about when I bill? Do I get everything upfront? Do I do that deposit and then the 50% deposit and then 50% when the project is complete? Do I do milestone billing? Do I do a third upfront, a third when the concept is approved, and a third when the project is complete? Totally up to you. All right. But then think even further. What are your payment terms? You now know when you bill. Well, when is your payment due? When is your invoice due? Is it upon receipt? Is it within 15 days, 30 days? That's for you to decide. But you need to decide. You need to create these policies because that's how you become proactive. And then on top of that, another thing solopreneurs don't always necessarily understand, as Becky indicated, she charges an extra fee. Okay, what is that? Is that a rush fee? Do you charge late fees when invoices are late? Do you charge cancellation fees? Do you charge that so well-known pain in the ass fee, the PITA fee? Now, that is a well-known practice, but don't line item that on your invoice, please. Don't do that. Okay, but it is something that's done. Like, figure out what your policies are. What are you going to charge and when? And what are you going to do going forward? Okay, to ensure that you get paid on time and you get paid, period. Because for whatever reason, people like to take advantage of freelancers or of the self-employed, and it's up to us to put a stop to that. Okay, so we put policies in place and we stick to them. Determine, for example, what you will do if somebody won't pay your deposit. All right, what will you do? Let's say you have a contract and they won't sign your contract. What will you do if you've sent the invoice and they're not paying and they're late? They're 1 month late, 2 months late, 3 months late. Or what if they, yeah, thank you, next. What will you do if they don't pay at all? Like, you've got to have all of these steps figured out and in place so you can deal with them and you're not surprised. You don't react emotionally. You become proactive, right? Maybe you have things all listed in your contract of how things are going to go. Maybe you've had that conversation with them, right? You're going to figure this out ahead of time. So you're proactive instead of reactive. Have a game plan in place, right? You need to know what to do. You need to know how to handle each of these situations because unfortunately they're more common than I'd like to admit, but they are. Figure out what is customary in your field, in your industry, in your niche. Figure out what your legal rights are, okay? And you want to do this because you want to be able to shift your mindset into business owner, okay? You're not just self-employed. You're not just a solopreneur. You're not just a freelancer, okay? You are a business owner. Shift your mindset into that. Let's say, for example, that somebody doesn't want to sign your contract. Ask why. Now, I know, Becky, you and I were on a call a little bit ago, and we were both like, oh yeah, walk away. That's a huge red flag. And I do agree. If somebody won't sign your estimate, if they won't sign your contract, if they won't pay your deposit, all red flags. But then, and I used to do that for many, many years, as Shannon would say, thank you, next, right? But then I had to shift my mindset. I wanted to ask why. Get curious about things. There may be a really good reason why. Okay, they won't sign your contract. Maybe this is a big conglomerate company and they have their own contract for you to sign. Maybe their accounting department is they work on a really weird schedule and they can't pay you a deposit, but they promise they will pay you as soon as you turn in your invoice. Okay, ask questions and determine what your non-negotiables are. Okay, I will just tell you, trust your gut. If it feels wrong, it probably is, but know your value, know your worth, and get comfortable saying no. Get comfortable standing up for yourself. Get comfortable taking ownership of your business, abiding by your policies, and walking away if necessary. It's okay to fire a client. And I got to tell you, it's really empowering to do so. You know your worth and you do what's best for you and your business. So a funny thing happens to solopreneurs. Every so often, a prospective client will say, oh, no, we're not going to pay you until we get paid by our client, or we get paid by something, whatever it is. Now, in my industry in advertising, agencies are particularly notorious for this. And this happens every so often, not necessarily just to me, but I'm connected to a lot of freelancers, and this happens quite a bit. And for the life of me, I cannot figure out why. Like, do they tell their credit card companies or their utility companies the same thing? Oh, sorry, we can't pay you because we haven't been paid yet by our clients. No, of course not. They don't do that. So why do they think it's okay to do that to the self-employed? Friends, you are not a financial lending institution. You are not a bank, a credit union, or an investor. Do not let people treat you as such. Let me tell you a story. So a few years ago, I had one of the largest ad agencies in town come to me, needing me to help them with a rush project. Now, mind you, yeah, they're a big agency. They do cool work. They work with some of the top accounts in the country. Very impressive. But I did not want to work with them. I hadn't worked with them in probably 15 years. And there's a reason why. Because 15 years ago, they brought me in on a small project. And for whatever reason, as we're going through the project, the agency came back to me and said, oh, sorry, this project's been canceled. No fault of your own, but go ahead and send us an invoice for your time. So I did. I sent them an invoice. It was for, I don't know, $125. It wasn't a lot. 1 month goes by and I didn't get paid. 2 months go by and I didn't get paid. 3 months go by and I didn't get paid. Of course, I'm following up with reminder invoices and I'm tacking on my 1.5% late fee that I'm allowed to charge, right? And I'm not hearing anything. So I decided to bypass, after 4 months, I decided to bypass my contract and go, figuratively, knock on the door of the accounting department. I was like, hello, can I get paid? I'm just a lowly little freelancer here. Surely I could use that $125 more than you could, big agency, right? Oh, we haven't been paid by our client yet. Okay, not my problem. You have $125 laying around. I can tell looking at this building, you have that money. You can afford to pay me. So fast forward now, 15 years later, and they come back to me and they're like, okay, Julie, we want to reserve your time here in a couple of weeks. We're going to have a rush project. I said, okay, I'm available then. Happy to help you out. So give me the downloads. They told me all about the project. I sent over my estimates and the contact replies back and she says, this looks good. We'll be in touch. And I'm like, well, okay. Red flag. She did not sign the estimate. Okay, I am aware of this. However, she did put in writing that it looks good. And according to my attorney, that's okay. Okay, so I do what I do. And with the policies of my business, I followed up with a working agreement because the word contract is scary to some people. I followed up with my working agreement so they could sign it. And I also sent over an invoice for my deposit. And she comes back. Now, mind you, I think she was young and she probably didn't know any better, but she comes back and she's like, yeah, we don't sign contractor estimates and we don't pay freelancer deposits. Is that okay? No, it's not okay. And of course, I'm like, well, what do I do? Like, this is weird. And she says, we actually have our contractor sign our contract. Will you sign that? And I'm like, honey, I'm not signing anything until I take a look at it. Daddy was an attorney. He taught me well. All right. So she sends over their 6-page contract. And I got to tell you, for the most part, it was nothing horrible. It was your standard stuff. Who owns the work? Non-compete, non-disclosure, the typical stuff. But I'm so glad that I went through this with a fine-tooth comb because there was one line in there, one line that stood out to me, huge red flag. And it said, essentially, we, the agency, will not be paying you, the freelancer, until 30 days after we get paid by our client. And I'm like, no. That's not how this works. What's that TV commercial? That's not how any of this works, right? And of course, I send that over to my attorney and I'm like, please tell me I'm right for thinking this is a huge red flag. Yes, Julie, this is a huge red flag. Do not sign that as is. Okay, what do I do? And he said, think about it this way. Let's say it takes them 6 months to get paid by their client. You're supposed to wait 7 months to get paid? No, that's not cool. Or what happens if they don't end up getting paid at all? You're supposed to not get paid at all? That is way too much risk for you to take on. He goes, do not agree to that contract is signed. Instead, go back to them and tell them, as part of the negotiation process, because all contracts were made to be negotiated, as part of the negotiation process, I would like to change out that one line to instead reflect my payment terms. Instead of you paying me 30 days after you get paid by your client, you're going to pay me within 30 days of receiving my invoice. And she's like, oh, okay, sure, no problem. Wait, what? I totally didn't expect that. I mean, that's great, but why do you even have that in your policy to begin with, in your contract to begin with? Just blows me away. And the funny thing is that after the project, I billed them and I got paid right away. I got paid within like 7 to 10 days. It was crazy. So I don't even know why they had that in there to begin with. But I want you to take note of a few things, take away from that story. Like, I had a policy in place regarding no signed estimates, no contract signed. And then when it came to my deposit, I trusted my gut. They are a big, well-known agency, right? They are pretty reputable. I trusted my gut on that. As long as we had something signed that was mutually agreed upon, the contract, I felt okay about it. I could have cowered. I could have just let them dictate everything, including my payment terms. And quite honestly, when I first started out, or even a few years back, I probably would have, but not anymore. Not today. Instead, what I did is I stood my ground. I stood up for my rights as a freelancer, and heck, for the rights of all my fellow independent contractors, knowing in my heart of hearts that this is bad practice. I maintained professionalism. I kept my cool, and I maintained my power. I let them know that their terms and conditions, the terms in their contract, like, crossed my boundaries. And they were trying to do something that to me was a non-negotiable. Okay. But I negotiated and I ended up getting what I wanted. If they hadn't changed that, I probably would have walked away. I most certainly would have walked away. But they did it and it worked. Okay. So take some notes from there. Know that you get to dictate how you run your own business. You get to call the shots. Okay. You are a business owner. You get to make those calls. You get to set the rules. You get to create the policies. Okay. You just have to shift your mindset into that business ownership mindset in order to get that, to own it. All right. Shanna says, why the hell do they call you on the project? Right. Yes, for sure. All right. If you have enjoyed what you have heard today, I would like to invite you to come and join us in my group on Facebook. Hey, it's called the Freelance Rockstars, and we have a lot of fun on there. In there, we share free tips and tricks. There's tons of camaraderie with like-minded folks. You can get your questions on self-employment and solopreneurship answered in a safe and encouraging space, and so much more. Here, let me make it easy for you. I will just put the link for you here in the chat, so you can just go there and come join us. We have a lot of fun, but come join us, and together we can work on our mindset and get that growth mindset, that successful mindset that we're all going for. Okay, cool. So moving forward, yeah, Shannon, you are a rock star. Moving forward, I want you to be bold. It is time to take your solo business to the next level. It is time to shift your mindset, to master that growth mindset, and to take control of your business. Next, I want you to be brave. I'd love you to be intentional with your time, to be protective of your time, to establish boundaries, create policies, set rules, and then, of course, stick to them. That's the hardest part. All right. But you can do it because you are a badass. Remember, mindset is everything. You've got to make a conscious decision each and every day to take control of it. This will help you shape your destiny. This will help you get to new levels that you never even expected. All you have to do is shift your mindset, get motivated and stay motivated. And that's how you can find the right mindset for solopreneur success. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. If there's anything else I can do to help you on your solopreneur journey, please feel free to reach out. You can find me at juliecortés.com. Again, that's Cortés with an S at the end, as in Sam. Connect with me on social media at KC Copy Diva on all the platforms. And of course, join me in the Freelance Rockstars group on Facebook. Thank you so much. Anybody have any questions before I log off here? Anybody? Lots of messages. Thank you. You're welcome. Am I going to post the video somewhere? Yes, I have recorded this and I will put this on my YouTube channel afterwards. All righty.
Can I add Julie, can I add something?
Sure, go ahead, Becky.
I will tell you that since the pandemic, it's a whole new world, and every client pays me in a different way. Some virtually, some send me a check, some use PayPal, and it's a frustration beyond belief, but it's just part of the world today. So be sure and ask the prospective client, or when they sign up, how they are going to pay you and when. It used to be we could go get a check, have a meeting, sign a contract, get a check. We can't do that anymore. So you have to have clarity on everything you do. And if you don't, you'll be sorry. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, great tip. And in fact, I would encourage you all, if you have an estimate, if you have a contract, you can put it in there how you will accept payment. But yeah, to your point, Becky, I mean, so much is being done in the digital world these days, we have to keep up, right? So have a PayPal account, have something, excuse me, Shannon says crypto, right? Have something where you can get paid digitally as well. Yeah, great tip.
So Julie, I know we talked about this at the last thing, but where are some of the places we can go for templates or ideas about how to put together a lot of our boilerplate agreements and things?
Sure, that's a great question. So I like the Freelancers Union. They have a lot of stuff. If you go to their website, it's freelancersunion.org. They have a lot of free stuff in their resources and in their blog. Even AIGA. I know they're built for graphic designers, but you can take their templates and tweak it for a writer or whatever it is that you do. There's plenty of contracts online. Like I mentioned before, Contract Canvas is an option. Just whatever you do, if you find a template, it's fine to like start there, but still, even if you don't use an attorney to craft your template or craft your contract, still have them review it before you put it into play, just to make sure you've got your I's crossed, or excuse me, your I's dotted and your T's crossed.
My eyes are crossed.
Right, mine too. You talk about contracts and legal stuff, for sure. What else? What else? Shannon, did you have something?
No, I was just saying AIGA is a good source for information. I do definitely agree with you. And the newsletter is phenomenal.
Yeah, they're national. I think it's .org, AIGA.org. So this is an organization, for those who don't know, this is an organization for graphic artists, hence the GA. And they have a lot of great resources on their national website, and anybody can go and get stuff there. Yes, KC SourceLink absolutely has great resources. Yes, clap for KC SourceLink. We love them. Of course, they're the host of Global Entrepreneurship Week this week. So definitely 3 cheers for KC SourceLink. Any other questions or tips that you all would like to share? Nope. Shannon is dancing. All righty. Well, we are coming up on 1 o'clock here. So thank you again for joining me today. It was so good to see all your faces and have you here on the call. And I will be in touch. So best of luck to you all. Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.